Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Oh boy, the weather's horrendous. I think you would have seen that on the opening clips to this video. And yeah, if we were in a competition with anybody in Ireland about who lives in the wettest part of the world, I think us down in North Cornwall could give the Irish a good run for their money with the wetness that we're getting at the moment. But putting that to one side, yeah, I've got a few things I want to show you. I've got a new tool. That's a massive addition to the workshop and when I go bushcrafting. And on top of that, I've got a new steamer set up I want to let you guys have a look at. Plus a couple hiking sticks that I've finished. And I want to show you the differences between them. And you can see that I've got these here in the background there to start sanding and getting on with. They're for my own general sale. I've completed custom orders, although as per normal, when I think things are slowing down, I've just received another couple custom orders today. So yeah, without further ado, I'll show you something that I've wanted for years. Really excited that I've got one and I own one now. So let me have a quick swig. Put my reading glasses on because I am at that age now. And here it is. Some of you will already know what this is, and some of you have told me I should have had this for a long time, and I've actually put it in the comments in my further back videos. A draw knife. I've wanted one for years. I haven't had one because quite simply I've wanted a vintage one. This vintage one set me back 30 UK pounds, and on top of that, that's without the postage. It's in relatively good condition. I've had to wait a long time to get one at a price I can afford that's in really good condition. I've scoured car boot sales and things like that, but I've always found that the handles are pretty beat up. The patina is just really bad. And the general condition, you know, you can renovate and get them back, and I'm an expert at trying to make something out of nothing. But yeah, this one here is a real good starting point. It does have patina on the back of the blade, but that's pretty good compared to some of them I've seen. And you can see the logo on there, the Atkinson logo. And the actual blade itself isn't in too bad condition. It's not too wavy where people sharpened it over the successive years and not done it with a lot of care or expertise. And it quite literally leads to the blade looking like the waves on the ocean. This here has a slight semicircle to it, or a slight smiley face, because quite simply, as people sharpened it, they've given it more emphasis on the push out of the actual sharpening stroke. It should actually be dead flat, but no, this looks something I can work with, and this would be a massive addition to me when I go out bushcrafting and I build my next shelter this summer. And this will be coming with me for doing the sticks and the logs. But in the workshop, for the heavier gauged hiking sticks, this will be a godsend. And on top of that, I've got a future bow build, which will be happening, or a longbow build in the summer as well. As you all know, if you followed my channel, I enjoy archery, and I've made myself a hazel longbow, and that is absolutely brilliant. But I've got an ash stave, which I've had now for nearly 2 years, and that's ready to be worked, and it'll be this tool that does it. So yeah, I suppose dimensions with this, let's have a look. Dimensions, get this one up here. It's 7 inches the actual blade, and it's about 13 inches the whole complete width that way. I did measure there, but I allowed for a bit. About 13 inches with a 7-inch blade. So this is more than adequate for myself. I'm not peeling 16 or 18-inch logs to build a log cabin. This will do me. And it's big enough, actually, if I was to do a log construction of, I don't know, lightweight logs, I could peel them to actually make myself a bushcraft shelter with this. Well chuffed, well happy. 30 UK pounds. It's taken me a long time to justify being able to spend that on a tool when I've been able to make do with other tools. But the correct tool adds speed, precision, and obviously ease to any jobs. But yeah, I'm so pleased I've got that now. So here's 2 hiking sticks I want to showcase to you, and they're quite special. That one there is what I call my generic standard type of hiking stick. It's a natural one with the bark left on, just bits stripped to allow me to put my logo and do a little bit of artwork. But this one here you may recognise, and they are selling really well, is my Bushwhacker Model. I've got a video further back in my playlist showing you the various design features and how it's applied when you're out on the trail. As the name would suggest, it's quite simply using the brute force of this actual tip, and that is a 5-inch copper tip, and it's of 28 gauge rather than 22 like the other one, to smash and use blunt force trauma to smash your way through bracken, brambles, nettles, small little bits of twigs and things like that to break open a trail. This is my Bushwhacker Model, and as you can see, it's a substantial hiking stick, and in the right hands you can actually push through trails which you may have turned around on. As you can see, it's got the hand grip, oversized lanyard. I've got 10mm lanyard just to help ease the comfort when you're swinging this hiking stick. And you can see by the other one there is a size difference. That's 8mm, which is my standard lanyard. This is 10mm. Obviously I've got 99% will come like a fox head drawing or wood burning, shall I say. But yeah, I've had a few custom ones I've had to make where they've wanted stags or hares. As you can see, this is slightly smaller gauge. I'll just put this one up here. I always choose a heavier gauged piece of wood to make the Bushwhacker out of. And you can see it. This one here is slightly smaller, but that's my standard size. And you can see the difference in the tips there. I'll bring you back up. You can see here I've done a hare. This is a folklore themed stick. Staring at the moon with the dark clouds rolling by at night. And there's a lot of folklore meaning to that. Yeah, and this one's got a peaked crown, because quite simply that enables you to hold it and let, as you swing, allows, like a golf club, allows your hand to roll back, or the upper part of your wrist to roll into it as you swing it. It's got 6 real nice engraved hand grips, and it's further down, so you can get one hand up here like a golf club and your second hand down here to allow you to swing through the arc. Yeah, this is a really beautiful, nice stick. I'm pleased with how both of these have turned out, but you can quite easily see the differences between the two and the design concepts. This one's obviously heavier gauged wood, hand grip which is sunk a little bit further normal than the normal hand position to allow you to get your second hand on it while you hold it at the top as well. Heavier gauge lanyard, 10mm versus 8. And as you come down through here at the tip, as you can see, this gently chamfers down to meet the copper tip there, but because we're oversized and massively oversized, you can see the wood doesn't chamfer down very much. It just goes down into one big peg right the way through. So yeah, a serious piece of kit, that Bushwhacker. And yeah, I've been selling quite a lot of them at the moment, and since the conception and me putting them out on the market, they're selling very well. I'll finish my cup of tea while I'll have a little chat with you. Right, I'm going to move on to my steamer, which I straighten sticks. Now, you will be familiar with me using my fire pit to generate steam through a boiling vessel, basically a camping kettle with a pipe that goes into a chamber, which is a drainage pipe. Yet again, as I've mentioned all the safety implications of that, none of that was designed to do what I was doing. And you're dealing with pressure, heat, steam, fire. I was constrained, or started to become constrained, because of the weather conditions I've just shown you through this video. I was struggling to get the amount of straight blanks I needed when I needed them. And when I did actually get the weather conditions, I would have to spend the complete day from daybreak to the evening straightening till darkness came, quite simply to get the volume, because I did not know whether I would have the weather conditions to use the fire pit. Because using a fire pit, obviously if it's raining, it's null and void, and if it's too windy, it's of no value to you, because a lot of the heat is lost quite simply because it's being blown by the wind. So I have conceded, and I've moved over to an electric steamer. So yet again, I will say everything you're going to see here, from the chamber to the paint stripping or wallpaper stripper, none of these items were designed for what I'm using them for. It's just something I've manufactured myself. It works, but I did actually, a safety tip and to show danger, I did scald the palm of my hand when I was, because I was putting it all together when I first used it and it got dark. I didn't see the jet of steam that was coming out of the hole, or vent, one of the vent holes. Put my hand across it and I got a mild scald. So that shows you the dangers that you're dealing with. You're still dealing with hot water, electric, steam and pressure. Things can go wrong. So don't do what I'm doing here. This is just me showing you what I'm doing and what I'm using. I'm not suggesting you follow suit. In fact, I have to say yet again, you know, for safety reasons, get a proper installation or an item set up to do this job that I'm doing. I've just manufactured for my own purposes. This isn't showing you how to do it, but I'm going to take you along and show you how I do it, not how you should. Right, you can quite evidently see I've got the steamer going. It's full to the watermark inside the chamber, and that's basically an electric kettle in essence. There's a little bit more to it than that, but it's got like an armoured cable which is coming out, and I've got going into my steam chamber. We'll have a look at that in a moment, but I can actually have this going in here because it's dry. So whatever the weather conditions, I can produce steam, you know, quite normally. But obviously this chamber was never intended to do this, and obviously the steamer was never intended to do this, as I've just mentioned before. But yeah, it's safe, it's dry, so I'm not in any danger of getting anything waterlogged by rain. And those weather conditions are horrendous. But you can see the chamber here, and you can see where it goes up here. It's got an armoured outer sleeve with a heat resistant rubber pipe. I've just put a small hole there and pushed it up, and it grips firm because it's slightly tighter than the rubber tube. You don't want it too tight because you still have to allow the steam to transverse through that pipe uninterrupted. So I've just turned it around while it's still warming up the water. You can see the outer cable here, and you can see exactly what I've done. I've got just the correct diameter just to hold this rubber pipe snugly, but it doesn't constrict the inner diameter inside the actual pipe, because you do not want over back pressure going back into the kettle or steamer, because it could cause a safety issue to the actual steamer or cause damage to it. But on top of that, with the back pressure, you know, you don't know what safety implications that could have. So yeah, that's very important to get that only snug, like where it fits in, but not crush the diameter of the internal of the pipe, otherwise too much back pressure may result. I've got a hole here which I've had to put as a drainage hole because it's on a bit of a slope to allow any condensate or cooling steam to be able to drip out. You'll see that in a moment, but I'll turn it around there, and now we just got to wait for steam. So I have to keep the setup outside because I would just fill it with steam inside our first part of the workshop. As regard to it being on this frame, I've got it at a slight angle, but it's supported by some planks, quite simply because that tube gets so hot it will bend like a banana. That is the amount of heat that is inside that tube. Both the drain hole and the over pressure hole to allow steam to escape this end, and at the main end, you have to get just the right diameter, because if it's too small you'll create too much back pressure and the thing will over pressurize, and that can be dangerous because steam will pressurize, then explode out of the container itself, and that can cause injury, and in some cases I could imagine death. But yeah, I've had to judge this and get it just right, and I've got the balance just right between the steam staying in the chamber and having enough of a hole to be able to escape so nothing over pressurizes. But yeah, that's my setup as it is at the moment, and I can do it in conditions like this. I'm not going to, because who wants to be out in windy, wet weather if you don't have to be? Well then guys, I think you can agree that weather's horrendous, and I'm not going to stay out there straightening sticks just for the sake of doing so, because I do have a stockpile and I'm getting through those, and then I'll straighten some more. And I'll possibly take you along and let you see how I straighten them on the jig. I think you've seen it before anyway. But in any case, that's my new system. And I've reiterated all the way through showing you the system. None of those items were intended for it. So don't copy me or do what I'm doing or replicate it, because it comes with all the dangers I've mentioned. And unless you're fully aware of them and you've got the skill level to manage them, it could quite easily get out of hand and dangerous. So like I said, don't copy what I've done for safety reasons. But in any case, I'm hoping for the weather to give me a break to get out and do some. I've got a bushcraft item I want to manufacture, so I need the weather for that though. We've just done a wild camp, but I do have another location I want to take you guys to, and I think it's quite a nice location. Most of my wild camps are more about the location and me taking you along to experience it with me, rather than the kits and the items I take. And that's part of the reason we all go, isn't it? To get out and experience nature. And well, that's the reason I go anyway. But yeah, so in any case, I think I'm going to draw this video to a close. So yeah, take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.